First of all, your thoughts on the market trend. Like I mentioned, it seems to be lacking momentum right now. Everybody's pointing to the earnings season as the next possible catalyst. Do you share that view?
Yes, I think we might see an uptick as the results begin to come in. Like you talk about Nestle, but I think the ones that we are waiting with bated breath will be the banks because they will come in a flurry.
Yeah.
And even though we can argue that some of the banks have their results already priced into their prices now, but I think we'll still see some momentum building. But the market has been lackluster for the last couple of days, and we'll see. But some of that has also been, profit-taking activities. People, I was talking to someone that you've seen Nigerian breweries go to 91, it's back to like 77. So some profit-taking activity.
Yeah, I mean, of course, some people are saying that suits valuations. Some of them, like Nigerian breweries, are a bit rich right now. But let's look at investor confidence, this whole issue of investor confidence in Nigeria and the fact that retail investors are really not participating like they should. We've seen how they can invest in this market in the past, but over the last 2 years, they seem to be on the sidelines, and the foreigners are the ones really driving this market further. What are your thoughts on where we are with this whole boosting of investor confidence locally?
Well, we're talking off camera. Boosting of investors' confidence, it's not a one-time event. It's a series of things you do over time. And I think we're well on the way, regulatory reform, doing a lot of good things there. The banking issues are, we're overcoming them gradually. So I think it's returning, but they're not engaging with the market, the retail investors, not just yet. They just want to see a little bit more. They want to see more stability. They want to be sure that they will not lose their jackets, their coats when they come back into the market. So it's on, and I expect that as we go through this year, we'll see it on the upward swing, but it will take time. It will take time.
Let's also revisit this issue of the stockbrokers. The last 2 weeks, we've heard some sensational headlines about the need for recapitalization. Obviously, the Association of Stockbrokers have come out to say we shouldn't have a blanket decision on that issue, and then there should be some dialogue. Where do you stand on all of this?
Well, for me, recapitalization is not necessarily a bad word. We've seen banks recapitalize, we've seen insurance companies. So for me, it's more, let's talk about it, let's agree how it will be done, and let's do it in a way that doesn't disrupt the market. If we need to recapitalize, then let's talk about it. I'm talking between this, the stockbroking community and the regulatory authorities. But it's good for the market. I think we perhaps need to see bigger stockbroking firms, more technology. Yeah. And some have said 300 stockbroking firms are too many. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
All right. And then let's look at the broader economy. Obviously, we're seeing inflation numbers. They're likely to come out before the end of this week. Over the last 4 sessions, we've seen inflation trend lower. What are your expectations, and what's your general feel about the barometer of the economy right now?
No, I think inflation is going to be on the upward swing, because I think yesterday we were looking at figures from China, from the UK. They're all battling with, increased inflation. I think we're going to see the same things there, and it's going to be driven by all sorts of things. But I think the CBN is trying to put a handle on it with what they did with MPR. But I expect to see inflation, it's about 11-12% now, maybe a little bit slightly higher than that, yeah. Because they're talking about food shortages in some parts of the world, price of wheat, and all those things will have a bearing in Nigeria at some point. So I expect that we will see the inflationary pressures in Nigeria, and we'll see inflation move upwards.
We're obviously in a high interest rate environment, and the expectation is that we will continue to see interest rates inch higher over the course of this year. What are your expectations on how that will impact on the equity market? Because generally, you will expect an inverse relationship where we have higher rates, and then more risk-averse investors would flow towards the fixed income market as opposed to equities. Do you expect to see that pressure on the equity market this year?
Well, yeah. I've been reading all sorts of people say, look, once deposit rates go up, that you're going to see a movement, a shift from the capital market to the money market. Well, there hasn't been much of a shift. The capital market is still lacking a lot of funds. So some of that will happen. But I think if you look at the stock market, so anytime there is inflationary periods also tend to be good for the stock market in terms of activities and prices going up and all of that. So you will see some shift, but I don't see it as being a major issue, because if you're a fund manager, a portfolio manager, you can't just have all your exposure in the money market. And don't forget that some people are already saying that, look, when the CBN's guarantee of interbank placements, when that expires later this year, that it should not be put back, so that, interest rates can really be market determined. So, people will still be very, very careful with the way they place money with deposits. So I suspect that the stock market, yes, will lose some money, but nothing substantial to affect it in any significant way, no.
Maybe on a final note, what are your expectations for this week? Like I mentioned, we've seen the market struggle over the last 2 weeks. Do you think that we'll see this market trending sideways this week, or do you think that we might see
no, I think it will.
Decline?
This week, today is what, Wednesday, going into early next week, we'll see some upward movement, because again, people will begin to look, they start to take positions, just waiting for those results to come out, waiting, and if we get 1 or 2 good results that come out before the week runs out, then that would give a boost
to the market.
To the market, yeah.